Seahawks at the Cardinals being our next game in Arizona. Arizona just had, a game that they should have been able to, probably win if they had, if Kyler had any sort of brain and didn't just throw it right to, Harrison and that sort of thing. And I mean, Seattle has surprised me all year. Even had some, buddies of mine tell me to stop betting against Seattle. And it's like, I'm not going to lie. I do like what Seattle is doing. I like what Geno Smith is doing. I don't think that their defense is anything incredible, and I guess looking at their last few games, I guess, these were obviously the, games 4 and 5 of their last 5, but it's like against New Orleans, they gave up, a lot of points. And then it's like even against Detroit, I remember that Detroit game, it's like it was Detroit somehow came back from a huge deficit, and they almost lost, scoring 45. Arizona, I don't know what, this was obviously the last meeting. I guess it's kind of crazy to analyze this, that this was only a few weeks ago. But Seattle, I mean, if they can keep Arizona to, 9 points, and then even the Chargers, was kind of a statement win for them because people think that the Chargers were the team that was going to beat, Seattle that week. And I mean, against the Giants, who had been doing really, really, really well, surprisingly, they just go and they handle, the Giants. And then you talk about the Arizona, talk about inconsistency. Their last win against New Orleans, scoring a ton against a team that, the next week shut out the Raiders. And I don't think by any means the Cardinals have the same offense as the Raiders. I don't. I think that if they did have Hollywood Brown and D-Hop, and then you had James Conner running like he used to, but it's like they don't seem to have a run game. Yards rushing, it's like 116 when you have such a mobile quarterback and you have James Conner. This is terrible. This is terrible to me. And then, you talk about Seattle, who has, I wouldn't say a phenomenal offense, but they have an offense that is competing and they're getting the ball to everybody, and Geno Smith is playing phenomenal football. He is, in my eyes, a dark horse right now because he's not one of the favorites of the league, to possibly win MVP. It's like 3 interceptions at this point in the year. It's like we're halfway through the year. He's due for like a 4,000 yard, 6-pick season with 26 touchdowns. The touchdowns, a little bit less than you would like, less than 2 a week. But, I think that Seattle, has kind of started finding their identity, and maybe that's what they needed with the clean house, with getting rid of Wagner, Russ. And I guess I don't want to say that it's a culture change when you lose your running back to a spine injury, Carson, because it's really unfortunate there. But their running backs that are playing now are doing really well. I really like Rashad Penny. And then, I guess, you look in this game, you have Buda Baker's questionable really bad. James Conner's questionable. Andy Lee, their punter, is questionable. That's kind of odd. But you look here, Marquise Goodwin, that kind of sucks that he's out. I know that he made some splashes last week. I don't know what he's out with. You can't see it here. I'm probably going to go check. But the fact that they have Arizona here having a 63% shot at beating Seattle is just outright disrespectful to me. It is outright disrespectful to me, and I'm going to go look at the full injury report here. See what's going on. They list Lockett on here and Metcalf. No apparent injury at all. But yeah, Marquise Goodwin and Darrell Taylor, who's a linebacker, both out. Those are the only injuries that are out. Anybody else that I think is, possibly out? Penny Hart, I guess, and then Joey Blunt. 2 players I don't really know, to be honest with you. But, yeah, let's go look at the Cardinals. You have Buda Baker, and it's an ankle injury, so he's questionable. Rodney Hudson, their center, one of the better centers in the league, is out. And I guess Christian Matthew, who knows who he is out, cornerback. DJ Humphries, one of their tackles, has a back injury. Never good to have one of those, I feel like, is questionable. And I mean, any other players, I guess, like I said, James Conner with rib injury. A rib injury is always one of those that's just like, I don't know what to think about when they have a back injury. I just think that it's really bad. And then, I mean, no one else. I will say this. I think that TJ Watt has had kind of a resurgence in his career this year. He's making splash plays. He hasn't gotten injured yet, but he is playing with a good intensity, and that sort of thing, which it's like is always scary, with a player of his potential caliber. So, credit to him. I think it's huge that Arizona has him, their leader on defense, because they obviously didn't retain Houston after last year. But I really don't think... I think that Kenneth Walker has honestly played insane football this year. And it's, only a matter of time. I think Tyler Lockett did have like a fumble last week, which was really uncharacteristic of him. But he's been having a good year. And then obviously Metcalf. It's like they just have so many weapons, I feel like, on the Seahawks. And they play well together. The running back situation I thought was going to be really, really bad for the Seattle, but, Kenneth Walker here has been playing really, really well. Not even too many carries, and he's already approaching 500 yards, which he's probably going to get easily against, a Carolina defense that I don't think does really good against the run. I guess it's 110 rushing yards allowed. It says better, but I feel like every time I see the Cardinals, you always see those runs that gouge them really hard. But yeah, the Seattle this year, really good team, really surprising team. I think everybody thought that they were going to... I had, numerous people before the season that I had talked to that were saying that Seattle was going to tank for a quarterback. But I think that they found their quarterback, at least for, a good amount of time in Geno Smith, because he's really proved it this year. They haven't had, I think, the crispest games that you would like, but they are a team that is, playing really well together. So I am actually going to say Seattle, and I'm going to say Seattle by 7 points against Arizona, with Arizona at home.